Yo. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ma, as I am Chemical CEO, founder, you know what I'm saying, all that. And today, we're going to talk about the real reason why I started YouTube, or why I got into YouTube in the first place. So let's get into it. So, it's a couple of different reasons why I got into YouTube, right? YouTube is something that I've tried before. I think a lot of people tried YouTube before. This probably been about like 8 years ago, 7 years ago when I first got out of college or was getting out of college and things like that. And, I tried it, but it just seemed like it was just too hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just too complicated for me to try to like get down. Like you had to record, which I could do. I could talk, try to make it, a certain number of time, and then got to get a thumbnail. You got to edit it up. Got to put music under there. Got to, add playlists and all. It's just too many. It was too many features, And I think at the time when I was doing it, a lot of content, just before the pandemic, content was coming out, but it had to kind of be a certain way. I guess this is my thought, for the algorithm to accept it or to push it or whatever. And it just seemed like that was a lot for me. You know what I mean? Like now, things are a little different for me. I'm giving it to you as I am, authentically as I am. This is who I am. And at the time I did the same thing too, but I feel like now it might be a little different as it might be a place for that now. I don't know if it was necessarily a place for that then. It might have been, but I think it was getting to the point where things were like people were just editing heavily. Everything was heavily edited and different shots. And I'm a creative person, but that was never my strong suit. Editing was never my strong suit at all. And so me kind of getting into YouTube, it kind of came from like friends, and a mentor was like, hey, like, you had a personality, do content. And I'm like, I've done content. I've tried it before, not just on YouTube, on Instagram. I've had a music blog as well as like a whole bunch of other different kind of contents that I've tried before. It just wasn't working. It was either not working or it was really slow growth. Like the music blog I've had now about 6 years. I started at, 2019. And even with that, like I've done a lot of things. I've done the interviews, I've done the write-ups, the features, and it just never really caught for me, right? And you can go follow it. I'm still on there now. Instagram at Straight to the Music. Just how it sounds, straight, the word straight to the music. That's on Instagram and that's on TikTok. I'm just getting kind of on TikTok, but you guys can follow me there. I still post. But it's just those things didn't take as I would have wanted them to take, So at the time I was like, I'm done, doing the content thing. I've been doing content now off and on for probably like, I'd say 8 years, 9 years, but nothing has ever, it just didn't really catch for me. So I'm like, I don't want to do it. But people are like, just get in front of the camera. Like, just talk to people, and I'm an overthinker. So I probably did overthink it a little bit, but I think the main reason was like, I don't want to keep putting years and time into something that's not doing anything for me. So it's like, I don't want to start YouTube or start, post on TikTok and all this other stuff if it's not going to do anything for me. So really, part of me trying this is kind of like a last ditch effort to be like, okay, this is what I got. Because like I said, I've been doing some of these things 8, 9 years, and you kind of get exhausted, after a while. You know what I'm saying? Things become repetitive. And so that's kind of what it was. Like I've tried a lot of things, content and not content. And they just either didn't do what I wanted them to do, or they just didn't, take off, or they didn't stick. Either I was like, I'm not feeling that, or it was just like, okay, I've been trying this, I'm trying this, and it's not working. I've done, like I said, I've done the music blog now about 6 years. I've been doing candles now about 4 years. When I was in college, I had this thing called Munchie Packs. So I was like the snack guy, you know what I'm saying? So people would call me, I would deliver snacks on campus. Uber Eats and Postmates and all that might have just become a thing, or might have just gotten to the area that I was at the time. But it wasn't that big. So like I would have snacks, we would have parties, people come buy snacks. Like, you just a candy lady, you know what I'm saying? But I would deliver and charge for delivery. I even had one lady one time work on campus. She called me and she asked me to deliver something that I didn't have, but like I had to go get it for her. She ordered it, pick it up, and then take it to wherever she was, which is cool. But like I said, those things that never, they never really took for me. Maybe because I wasn't a super duper social person. I had my roommates and then like friends and, you know what I'm saying? And then they would kind of tell people when we had parties and stuff in my apartment, or my place, people kind of come in, but it just never really took, you know what I'm saying, as much as I would have wanted it to. You know, other things that I tried, even kind of like I tried the DJing, you know, I tried hosting, you know, I did like parties here and there, promotion here and there. Also, when I graduated, tried like more media because I went to school for arts and performance, communication, arts, performance. So I studied media, I studied entertainment, I studied music business. So these are things that I wanted to get into in the real world when I graduated. So I tried it. I tried acting and extra work. Still, you know, did acting classes for maybe like 2 years. You know, did extras in like music videos and, you know, some pilots and stuff that never seen the light of day. Never, don't know what happened to them. I just know they gave me my check. It was like $100, $200. They gave me my check. I was good. You know, I did, you know, little event things here like Miami Swim Week. And, you know, like I said, I would do interviews of like different musicians and podcast, and we would go to like, you know, there's a spot in when I lived in Miami called the Hippie Haven, which shout out to everybody from Hippie Haven. We would go there, they would do different events, and we would, you know, be the camera crew there. You know what I'm saying? So I've always done content. You know, I've always done, you know, events and content and nightlife, which is why I, you know, was a manager of a lounge, you know, recently until I left. Because these are things that I've done. Like I said, things just never really, I guess, stuck the way I wanted them to stick. You know, I've done the lifestyle content. I tried that. I was like, not really what I thought it was going to be or what I really wanted. I tried the workout content, not really what I thought it was or what I wanted. You know, I did this thing in college called a Mods Taxi Service, which means that I pick you up from, you know, wherever, take you wherever. And I used to do that too, but the only thing is, like, you can only go as far as your one car allows you to go. You know what I mean? So if your one car don't allow you to go far, you're not going far. And I could only do so much. So I did that for a little while. But like I said, I think my main thing was just putting time into a lot of things and, you know, them not necessarily taking off for me. You know, I've done even when Uber Eats and DoorDash and Postmates, I did all those too. Amazon Flex, which is a new one. I did Amazon Flex too for like 6 months until they kicked me off the app. They kicked me off the app. I mean, it is what it is, but I did that for a while too. So I've always tried to do different things and, you know, see what sticks, see what works for me. You know, some people might say, well, you tried a lot of different things, but which I have. I'm a risk taker. Like, I take risks. You know, I'm still young, but I'm getting older. So the risks I take got to be a little different. But, you know, when I was in my 20s, I always took risks. Like, I always, okay, this idea I want to try, I'm going to try it, you know, just to see what's going to happen. You know, like I said, I think my frustration became things wasn't really panning out for me the way that I had hoped or had planned for them to pan out. And, you know, when those things happen, you kind of just got to pivot, which is what I was doing. But they still wasn't connecting the way that I would have hoped them to connect. So I got frustrated. So I'm like, you know what, man, I don't really want to do this content thing like that anymore. Like, I still want to do content, but maybe once I get my ducks in a row, I'll open up a media company or stuff like that. But me literally having time right now was like the main thing, you know? So friends, first they was like, hey, you know, you should try this mentor. Like, you should try this. I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling that. You know, I'm burnt out, you know, pretty much. I was like, I'm burnt out. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to keep doing it. And I don't want to make it complicated. YouTube now seems a little easier. At least it seems like it. Like, I don't have to do as much because, you know, from what I'm seeing, they reward authenticity. Like, I might not have to make these crazy thumbnails and do all this other stuff. And if I do, maybe that'll be down the line. But, you know, after one, people telling me, hey, you should do it. Two, thinking about it. And then three, trying all these other things. Trying YouTube first, then trying all these other things. I'm kind of back at YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the last thing for me was just like content, man. Like, I still had these ideas that I want to try just to see if they stick. I just, with, you know, Instagram and, yeah, mainly Instagram. Like, I've been on Instagram now for like 6-7 years posting content. It didn't catch. You know, I might have had a viral post go viral maybe a couple times, but that might have been 3 years ago. And so I'm like, well, it's hard for me to me, it's been kind of hard to build on there. So I haven't done it as much. I still do it, but that hasn't been my focus. So I'm like, okay, well, at least on YouTube, I got 70-something subscribers. I can start from scratch, and then I can just put stuff out there. I just put out there. See what people like, see what they don't like, see what I like, see what I don't like. So that's kind of where I'm at, man. So those is really the real reason why I started. Like, it's something I thought about doing, but people were kind of just putting it in my ear, try it. Don't have to be perfect. And I wasn't really worried about perfection, But from a person who's done content before, I know kind of what's good and what's not good. So I didn't want to just, if I couldn't not have the works, but if I couldn't just have my lights and my mic and all, like if I couldn't have it set up the way I felt comfortable, I wasn't going to do that. But currently I don't have any of that stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start putting videos out there. I'll see what takes. I'll see what doesn't take. And in that way, I also can, you know, post my candles and, you know, talk to people. I know right now, you know, this channel is mainly about me doing candles. But like I said, I've done and tried so many things. I don't know. This channel might turn into more than just candles. You know, it might be other stuff that I do in my day-to-day life as well. I'm not sure. But, you know, these are the main things that I just want to work on. You know, people told me to try it. I tried other things. Why not try this again? And as long as it's something that's, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but as long as it's something that's authentic for me and that flows for me smoothly, I'll put it out there. You know, I'll try. If it gets to the point where it get overwhelming for me, I'll probably be like, all right, I'm good. But I think right now it's something that I can manage. And now that I have the time, I just want to, you know, because I'm not working. Now that I had the time, it's just like putting the time into that, you know. So that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm at. And that's the real reason why I started YouTube, you know. Until obviously things get monetized, if you want to support in any way, you can. Also, like I said, I make candles. So I'll put my candle website down there as well. You guys can purchase candle at your perusal. You know what I'm saying? You don't, if that's, you know, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you see something on there you like, I think you'll love them. I think they're fabulous. Other people have told me they're absolutely phenomenal. So if you enjoy it, you know, candles, just check it out. But it's the real reason why I started YouTube, man. This is why I kind of started this journey. I'm interested to see where it's going. Like I said, I'm excited. Even having another viewer, another subscriber, starting at, you know, where I'm at, 78, 79 now. I've grown 2 or 3 subscribers in a couple of days. That's still something to be excited about. So the real reason why I started YouTube is your boy Ma, As I Am Mechanical, CEO, founder, you know, all that. And I say all that because I've done it all. Till the next time, peace.